ॐ तपस्वाध्याय शुश्रूषा कृष्णपूजारतं मुनिम् विश्वेशमिष्टदं वन्दे परिव्राट् चक्रवर्तिनम् श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः. Hari Om to all. Welcome back to Bhagavadgita session. Today we are going to look at Bhagavadgita chapter 1 verse 29. In the previous verse, Arjuna's mind collapsed under attachment and compassion. In this verse, the body starts responding. The Bhagavad Gita now moves from emotion to visible physical breakdown. This is how inner conflict truly unfolds. Let us look at the Bhagavad Gita shloka first. Bhagavad Gita chapter 1 verse 29. Sidanti mama gatrani mukhancha parishusyati vepathuscha sharire me romaharshascha jayate. Sidanti, sinking or weakening. Mama, my. Gatrani, limbs. Mukham, mouth. Cha, and parishusyati, drying up. Is drying up, you can say it. Vepatuhu, trembling. Cha, and sharire, in the body. Me, my. Roma harshaha, hair standing on end. Cha, and jayate, arises. Simple meaning of this verse: my limbs are weakening, my mouth is drying up, my body is trembling, and my hair is standing on end. When we go deeper explanation of this particular verse, we will see how Bhagavad Gita is a psychological text as well as spiritual text. This verse, Sidanti mamagatrani mukhancha parishusyati vepathuscha sharire me romaharshascha jayate. This verse is a textbook description of an acute stress response. Long before modern psychology named it, Bhagavad Gita precisely mapped what happens when the human mind is overwhelmed by moral conflict and emotional overload. It starts with Sidanti mama gatrani. Arjuna begins with the body, not the enemy, not strategy, not duty. Sidanti mama gatrani. My limbs are sinking. This is not fear of death or fear of defeat. This is emotional overload. When the mind cannot process pain, the body gives up strength. The same arms that fought many wars effortlessly now feel powerless. In modern psychology, it is called as somatic shutdown. When the mind faces a situation it cannot resolve, especially a moral dilemma involving loved ones, the nervous system begins to conserve energy. Muscles weaken, posture collapses, strength drains. This is not cowardice. It is the body saying, I cannot act until this conflict is resolved. In modern terms, this is a freeze response, not fight or flight. That is what exactly happened to Arjuna here. Sidanti mama gatrani. My limbs are sinking. He next says, Mukhancha parishushati. My mouth is drying up. It means my speech dries up. Dry mouth is a classic sign of inner shock. Breath shortens, speech flatters. It's a classic example. The greatest warrior of that time now struggles to even speak clearly. This shows how deeply the conflict has entered into Arjuna's mind. In psychology, this is a classic sign of acute anxiety. Under stress, saliva production reduces. Breathing becomes shallow. Speech becomes difficult. The body redirects resources from communication to survival systems. That is why people under the shock say, I can't speak, my mouth went dry, like this. Here, the greatest warrior of that time, Arjuna, is describing this with surgical precision. Next he says, Vepatuscha sharire me. Trembling. Whole body is trembling. Most of the times when someone is trembling, we normally make a mistake by assuming that person is weak. But trembling is not weakness. It is the nervous system saying, I cannot handle this pressure. Arjuna is not running away. He is standing there, but his body is shaking. This is what happens when responsibility, attachment, and compassion collide with resolution. In modern psychology, trembling is a nervous system overload. It happens when emotions are too intense, decisions are irreversible, responsibility feels crushing. Trembling does not mean fear of danger. It often means fear of doing irreversible harm. So, Arjuna is not afraid of dying or not afraid of defeat. He is afraid of what he is about to do. Next he says, Roma harshascha jayate. This is the peak reaction, hair standing on end. Hair standing on end shows a deep existential shock. The mind senses something irreversible. That is why it happens. Arjuna realizes this war will change everything forever. The body reacts before the intellect can explain it. That is why that goosebumps starts. In psychology, this is a deep existential shock. Goosebumps occur when the brain perceives something vast, something irreversible, something morally overwhelming. In modern psychology, this is associated with moral injury, anticipatory grief, existential dread. Arjuna senses everything. After today, nothing will be the same. That thought comes into mind, the body reacts before the intellect catches up. Each and every reaction he is giving or description he is giving is extraordinary in the lens of psychology. Lots of people may have this question in their mind. Why the Gita records all this? If Arjuna had some questions, he should have asked and Arjuna would have answered it. But Bhagavadgita clearly records this deliberately because the Bhagavad Gita is not only spiritual scripture, it is also a precise psychological map. It shows us inner conflict does not begin with collapse. It begins with subtle discomfort, then emotion, then physical symptoms. So, Arjuna is showing all of this. Arjuna is not weak, he is honest. If someone in our life is going through some psychological issues, most of the time we assume that person is weak. So we have to understand this. The greatest of warrior during that time, Arjuna went through this. The people like us definitely going through this some point of our time, our lifetime. So, if someone is going through some physical issues or mental issues, don't consider that person is weak because of the situation, because of some of the irreversible pain or actions. He is going through that. So we have to show some compassion towards that particular person. That is why Bhagavadgita deliberately recording these symptoms of psychological collapses. As I said, Arjuna is not weak. He is honest. He is going through psychological issues, cognitive overload. It means too many conflicting values, emotional flooding. It means attachment and compassion is overflowing. Somatic symptoms, body reacting. He cannot speak, he cannot stand, body is trembling. And the loss of executive control. Body is not reacting means he cannot take any actions. Every person can go through this in difficult situations. In psychology, this is the moment. Before collapse or transformation, Arjuna has reached the limit of self-regulation. This is very crucial. But Krishna does not interrupt here. As any good therapist knows, the same way Krishna reacts here. Not reacts, he remains silent here. Normally, every therapist knows that you do not correct, you do not teach, you do not advise. When the patient is still flooded, you let them talk. Let the symptoms surface fully. Krishna allows Arjuna's body to speak before the teaching begins. That is divine psychology. Bhagavadgita, chapter 1, verse 29 shows us the full psychological manifestation of unresolved inner conflict. Arjuna is still standing. Arjuna is not completely broken, but his body is no longer cooperating. It is not about weakness. It is about a healthy human nervous system reacting honestly. The healthy human nervous system reacting honestly to an unbearable moral conflict. This is the point. He is at the threshold of transformation, where a human being realizes, I cannot carry this alone. In the next verse, even the weapons will slip from his hand, showing that the mind can no longer pretend strength. Only after this complete breakdown can true healing begin. That is what the Bhagavadgita is preparing us for. God bless you all. Hari Om. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. Sarve santu niramayaah. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Ma kaschid dukkha bhavet. Om Shantihi. Om Shantihi. Om Shantihi. Om Sham.